One thing that happens when you are parents of a child that has disabilities is people don't know how to talk to you about it. So many times we would try to explain to people that we needed help. The response most often was, well, parenting is hard.
Yeah.
And like we couldn't communicate that isn't what this was. Hi, I'm Lisa.
Hi, I'm Pete.
And we are parents to Petey. He happens to have a diagnosis of spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy with dystonic features. Petey can't control the way in which his body moves. He's nonverbal, but he is full of energy and love. We both have medical backgrounds, So when we found out the child that we were able to adopt could potentially have medical issues, we were like, well, that's okay. We know how to navigate systems and we'll be okay. Unfortunately, that was not our experience.
We fell through every possible crack in the system. We were going through literal hell, saving a baby's life on a daily basis.
I think in the first year there was over 200 appointments, and this was during the pandemic when things were shut down. He had to have a feeding tube placed. He almost died. He went into something called dystonic storm.
We were so overwhelmed that we were not taking care of our own selves. I had a severe mental breakdown from the stress and just total exhaustion.
It took us 2 years to get a diagnosis in order for us to even get nursing services. Once we got nursing services, it took 8 months to find nurses to come in. We have 32 hours of nursing a week. I can't stress enough, there's still 136 hours that he needs around-the-clock care. It's hard. I sleep in 2-hour chunks. We lost a significant amount of money. There were weeks where we couldn't afford groceries. I had to quit my job. When you become a caregiver, caregiving becomes your work.
There have been times where I wanted to give up. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to give up, but at the end of the day, I kept reminding myself, just imagine where your child would be if I was to give up. My name is Judith Montes, and I am here to share my story about my son who deals with a mental health disorder. He is currently at a group home in Roxbury. Jeremiah, he is a funny kid. He's very loving, very caring. He's very helpful. So, times when I see him having those moments, I'm like, that's not my child. It kind of slowly started in kindergarten. The pandemic is really where things got really rough. So he was doing school at home. He would break his Chromebooks, which we went through 10 of them. You would never expect that he would be that violent. I ended up taking a medical leave just because he spent about 2 months at the emergency room just waiting for a bed. And that was very frustrating to just have my son sitting in the emergency room. He was able to find a bed at Cambridge Health Alliance. He was there for about a week, came back home. I had to call the cops plenty of times because, again, I'm by myself. Went back to the emergency room. That's where he went to St. Anne's for the CBAT program. He was there for over a month, and now he's at the group home in Roxbury.
For him to just sit in the house all day and not have any human communication except for the staff and residents that are there, I think it's pretty serious to one's mental health. My name's Diana, and I've been married with Donnie for 23 years now. Before the pandemic, Donnie was in a day program, and that was absolutely fantastic. He got to do arts, crafts, maybe watch a movie.
I never planned on leaving him.
Due to the pandemic, things changed, unfortunately. His accident was 22 years ago. He was first in a coma, and they said that he was not gonna come out of the coma. From Mass General, he went to Spalding, and then he went to his first nursing home. And Donnie really basically did not receive the care he needed until he came to where he is now, at Old Ferry Road NFI.
The house I'm in now, that's wonderful. The staff is always there for me. They take care of me just as much, and I know they take care of her.
I've never met nurses like the ones that we have. One thing that Bernadette and all the Northeast clinical nurses brought was just like understanding. Like they just listened to us. Never once did any of them tell us that parenting was hard.
They do some truly life-saving work.
It's just interesting that the nurses can only work X amount of hours a week, but the families just have to do it all the time.
You know, I do appreciate DMH, you know, fighting as hard as they did to try to look for a bed for my son. So seeing that made me realize, okay, they are good people that are actually, that they care and they want to try to make a difference in this type of world that we live in.
Even though people are not wearing their masks anymore and life goes on, some people went back to work, some people preferred staying at home, they went back to something, whereas Donnie did not. It seems like life's moving forward for so many people after the pandemic, but not for you.
Without me.
Would you like to be in another day program?
Hell yeah. Be better than sitting at home.
I would like to see Johnny get into a day program to do arts, crafts, see his friends.
It affects me, but I'm strong enough to handle it.
I am very grateful for the program that he's at now. I do feel like there should be more advocacy for single moms. It was really hard for me to even know where to start. It is very overwhelming, intake after intake. I definitely did learn to be my own advocate, and I think that's why I wanted to switch careers, to be able to help single moms, especially that have been in my shoes or are going to be in my shoes. If I can prevent anything, telling my story, if that can make some type of a difference, I'm willing to do that. We're both working really, really hard to get through this, so if he's fighting for it, I gotta fight for it too.
In the last 6 months, I think things have started to really turn around. PD is actually going to go to a preschool for kids with disabilities, but the only reason why he can do that is because the documentation that the Northeast clinical nurses have done basically guarantees him that he will have a one-to-one nurse when he's at school. Otherwise, there would be no way. And he will finally have a regular schedule. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to go out and do things with the nurse on the weekends. It's a breath of fresh air to have a nurse with you. So I can just be, mom and having fun. It's a lot, but PD is an absolute beautiful human, and I would do it all again. He is so joyful. I'm so happy about how much progress we have made as a family, but I can't help thinking of how many other kids had difficulty getting resources, how many kids had a diagnosis of quadriplegic cerebral palsy that wasn't caught until the child was almost 2. What happened to those families? Are they okay? Are the kids still here? Based on our experience, I don't know.
I don't know if they're still going or what, if they're still there. Travis happens to be a kid that I'll never forget either. The kid's off to the moon. And I just say, hi, Travis, what's up?